So one of the things that we believe in LLC is that stories have the power to change perceptions, beliefs, in some cases value systems also. So this part of the interview is something that I call tell me a story. So Smita, tell me a story that has resonated with you, something which maybe you might have experienced or maybe you might have heard. It could be a children's story, but something that you learned from it, and maybe we all can also learn from it. So tell us a story.
Okay, once upon a time, there was a wise old man lived in a village. And now nobody knew his name or nobody knew where he came from. And that's because he spoke to no one. So he was always a mystery. But there was one thing that he did religiously is that he kept a clay pot in front of his house and he always filled it with water. There's always water there, and there would be animals, birds who would pass by and come and quench their thirst there. And he did it every day. So people and kids called him the waterman because that's all they knew about him. That this is one person who fills the water, makes sure that there's water there for animals and birds. So that's what they called him. The children called him the waterman. Now one day, what happened was that the clay pot was empty. There was no water. Soon animals started coming in, birds started coming in, there was a lot of noise and commotion. Then there were villagers who were coming in and they saw there's no water. So one villager went and knocked on the door, tried to call the waterman, but nobody answered on the door. So as a reflex action, they said, Chalo, let's fill up the water in the clay pot. So one villager ran and they filled up the clay pot with the water. All the animals quenched their thirst and went their way. Again, in the afternoon, there were more birds who wanted water. So another villager saw that and filled up the clay pot. The next day again, the clay pot was empty. So the villagers decided, let's fill it up. We don't want the animals and the birds to be thirsty. They did that for a couple of days and they decided that, this should be the responsibility of the children and the children should now make sure that the water is filled up. That's what happened. Now months passed and suddenly one day the old wise man walked into the village. Now when the children saw this, they were really happy and they said, the waterman is back, the waterman is back. And he walked towards his house. So one villager was very curious and he went up to the man and said, where were you? How could you just walk away? This clay pot has been empty for so long. How can you just walk away from your responsibility? For the first time, he smiled and he said, you know what? It doesn't matter who fills the clay pot as long as it is filled with water forever. And this story really resonated with me because with a simple action, the wise man was able to influence a good habit, something that would add value to birds, animals, and make a difference. So I always question myself that what is it that I'm going to leave behind? What's the legacy that I'm going to leave behind? A legacy is as simple as a good action, a good thought. And I believe that I'm going to leave this book behind wherein I can share my experiences, the wisdom that I have accumulated over the period of time, over the last 20 years. And you never know how it's going to help someone either transform themselves or make a difference or even motivate them to leave a legacy behind.
What a beautiful story. Thank you very much for that. It's a wonderful story.